All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Not sure where you're watching from today, but my name is Jason Flame, and welcome to the Master Motivation Podcast. And today we have a special guest, and I am excited to introduce Mindy Prete, who is the Executive National Vice President, who has been with Arbonne International for over 13 years. She was a former dental hygienist from Southern California who grew up in my hometown, Newbury Park, California. Mindy is a mom of two, Bryson, who is 18, and Brooke, who is 14, and is married to her husband, Rick, who is also a black belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. They've been married for 23 years, and both are fitness and healthy living fanatics. Mindy is in the top 1% globally in her industry of social marketing in the health and wellness realm, where she shows others how to work from home and choose better products inside and out, and her specialty is a 30-day nutritional challenge. She is a $1 million all-star achiever in her company, but more importantly, loves to show others how to succeed and to give back along the way to the less fortunate. So, welcome to the show, Mindy. Thanks for taking the time to be here.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's good to see you. It's been a long
Yeah,
time.
it
20 years.
has. Listen, Moore Park and Newbury Park are not very far from each other, but it's not too often that I get to make it back to my hometown. But thank God for Facebook because we get to see each other every day and kind of learn about what everybody is doing, or at least what they show they're doing. But
Right.
uh, but here we are, and hey, Anthony Gutierrez. Sorry that we're a little bit late today, but here we are. If you have any questions for Mindy, please drop those in the comments. We're just gonna do a little storytelling, a little education, a little motivation, inspiration this Monday, um, Monday, December 19th. Can you believe that Christmas is coming up? I
I'm
mean, it's like,
ready. I'm
you're
ready.
ready?
Really. I'm like pretty impressed with myself.
Wow. Wow. Well, I'm going shopping today, so I'm not ready, but it's all good. Let's talk about, we both grew up in Newbury Park. I know you were an athlete in high school, and you've always been a fitness fanatic. Talk about how you got involved in Arbonne and what you've been doing.
Well, I really just fell in love with the nutrition program they had. I had my friend who was talking about it. She said, "Hey, come to my house, try some of these shakes." And I'm like, all right. Well, after a couple kids, it's kind of hard to fit back in those jeans that were my favorites. So back then, designer jeans were just a big thing. I needed to get back in them. So I went to her house. I tried these products. I really wasn't considering changing business. I was a dental hygienist, and that's what I knew and did. That's what I went to USC for. That's what I went to support my family for. I was just loving products, using products, and having great results. So what people do when they love something, they can't stop talking about it, right? So I was sharing these products with friends and referring them to my friend who was selling them. So I was gaining energy. I was fitting back into my clothes. I was feeling like I was 18 again after being a tired mom. And I just decided, hey, if I'm loving these, if they're giving me results, then I'm going to share them with others too. And that's kind of how the business started.
Now, what year was that? When did you make that transition?
It was 13 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I was a dental hygienist for 7 years, and it was a little tough because I had bad back and neck issues. So I was, thankful for that career. I love helping people. I love science and medicine, but I was always feeling like there was something I was made for something more.
hmm hmm Talk a little bit about, as you were, growing up, and you said you went to USC to become a dental hygienist. What were your dreams and goals in high school, once you got out of high school, as you were going to college? What were your dreams and goals?
Well, I was always kind of a rule follower, and I was good at that. I remember, my mom telling me, do something where you can be independent, where you can support your family, where you can enjoy what you're doing. And so it was important to me to like do the things that I thought like what success should look like, right? So
Mm,
getting the good grades to get into USC, to get the degree, to get the, job. Um, it's just what I thought you do to be successful. So I enjoyed that for 7 years, but like I said, I felt like I was made for more. And when I became a mom, that's what I always wanted to do. Um, I realized that I wanted choices to be with home with them. I didn't want to miss their life. I didn't want to miss their games. And I was just wondering, is there other options? Do I have to be a 9 to 5, or could there be other options? So I always wanted to be a mom, but I wanted to be there with them too.
Right, right. No, absolutely. And you brought something up that I posted about recently. I was reading a book, a John Maxwell book. It's actually my daily reader, and the quote was, success is what everybody else says it is, or what everybody else says about you, but excellence is when you are living your best life and when you are achieving your potential, right? And so it's so interesting that you brought up that you went to do this career that you thought that was the idea of success, but never really even considered where you are now. I mean, this was probably not in your thought process.
Right, right. Like I said, I was a rule follower. I thought I was doing the right things, and I don't regret it. It really did set me up to appreciate what I have now. Um, it helped us get our first home. Um, I liked helping people. I learned a lot about people. I learned a lot
Hmm.
about working in that environment, but I just, things change. It's okay to have a plan B. And sometimes when you have a tug, like there's a reason for that, and you got to go for it. So that's what I did.
And you've spoken on a big stage on a big level. I mean, first of all, explain to people that maybe have been living under a rock and have no idea what Arbonne is. Um, Talk about the company a little bit that you work with, and where that has taken you and putting you on these big stages.
Okay, first of all, what people don't know about me is that public speaking is my all-time biggest fear, and probably why I said no to you for doing a podcast for a long time, because I hate being on camera. But I love helping people, and I always feel like there's a reason for everything. So if one person might get a little something out of this to help them get healthy, to help change their life, to help them see things differently, then I feel like I've done my job. And most people who do get put on a big stage in general, like, I would say they like that limelight. But I also like to be proof to people who are more introvert, more shy, who don't like to be on camera, that there's a place for you too, because somebody like you needs to hear from somebody like that needs to hear from me that they too can make more out of life. So the company is called Arbonne International. It's health and wellness. So my team mostly specializes in nutrition, sports nutrition, but we have a wide variety of products, which is just clean, skincare, best ingredients. They've been around for over 40 years, and I am a consultant that represents those products. And then I also teach team how to become successful representing those products.
Hmm. Yeah, and you might have a friend here, or maybe you know this person. Brenda is saying, "Way to be an example," and I think that that is very true. First of all, you said that you have a fear of public speaking. For a long time, public speaking was definitely not my thing at all. And if you poll everybody, most adults will tell you that it's their biggest fear more than death. I mean, it's been a study has been done that has said that public speaking is more scary than even death. So I think it is a huge example for you to step up. And you said something that was very, very important. And I believe the same thing about this podcast. And the reason I bring people on like yourself and past guests is that if we could change the life of one person, if we could turn someone's mindset around, if we could give them one tip that gets them to that next level, then we have absolutely accomplished our goal. Sometimes we do things like this and we want the big numbers and we want hundreds of viewers, or we want but it really just takes one. It just takes one that actually makes that change in your life. Now, you were talking about Arbonne International, and it's 40 years old. I mean, I've known about Arbonne. I've used the products. um, what really sold you on it, and who introduced you to the program?
Okay, so I have a friend named Tracy Schutz that I played soccer with, and she was representing the products for a while. So she introduced me to the nutrition line. What was your second question? I'm sorry.
The second question is, who introduced you to it, and what was it that sold you on the
Okay.
program?
Yeah, so I went to her house and tried it. It tasted good. So I thought, okay, this tastes good. I can do it. But what
Hmm.
really sold me was the results I was getting. So many people are looking for something, especially this time of year, that's easy, that has ingredients they're looking for without the, I want to say like sucralose, ingredients that are not natural, artificial sweeteners, all the things that are just not serving us. Meal plans that are easy, even when you don't, you're not a good cook or whatever, or your whole family can have it. Everything was just so easy. It was not expensive. It was what I was spending on groceries anyway. Um, it was the results I was getting like so fast that I just felt like, um, if I can do this and see results like this fast, then I can teach other people also how to feel
Hmm.
this amazing with a program that's like an easy button. So nothing really to lose. We all got to eat anyway. We all just kind of need a simple program to lay out for us. And so following that, seeing the results kept me motivated. And then I couldn't stop talking about it. So
Yeah, when you get passionate about something, whether it's the gym or a product like yours, it just like when it resonates with you and when it feels good and when it you want to tell everybody about it. You want to get everybody involved, and it's interesting. Uh, Small world, right? Tracy's, I think, nephew did martial arts with me for a little bit,
okay,
and I remember Tracy from high school as well.
yeah,
Um, you played soccer. Let's just kind of go on a tangent for a bit because I remember that about you. You were an avid soccer player. I believe all three girls, both your sisters played as well. Yes.
we played all the sports, but soccer was definitely the favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, and just kind of being an athlete, what how did that how did that add to your life, and how did that bring you even closer to Arbonne and to your lifestyle in general now?
Just like movement of the body to feel good, to be healthy, to that natural competitiveness that I have in me, also just to be the best version of yourself, for sure. I just love everything fitness, everything nutrition. I love like team, camaraderie. My parents coached me in soccer, which was an amazing, way to grow up. My way for my parents to get into our lives. I have a twin sister who was really good at forward. I was really good in the middle, so we just played so well together. Um,
Hmm.
it just taught me the value and the importance of what you know fitness, movement, lifestyle, nutrition, health, wellness, all the things could just really add value.
Hmm. Let's go back a little bit. You mentioned your parents and that they helped coach you, playing soccer. What were some other things that your parents instilled in you in a young age that have helped you become successful?
I think loyalty was one thing. I love how my parents showed me, like, even through hard times, if you stick it out and stay together, what that can look like. They're still married. I lost track of how many years. Um, I just love that even though things weren't perfect, they showed us the value of family and sticking together and staying through that. My
Hmm.
mom had a really hard childhood, losing a sister young, losing her parent young. Um, and it taught me that every day is a gift. um, and to live it to your fullest, and that nothing is promised, and family is so important. It's the one thing that is given to us that we just my family is big, and we really value the times that we can be together.
Hmm.
um, so I love that they kind of showed that to us. And my dad being quiet, like, he was also, man a few words, a past marine. He showed, through his actions and through coaching, um, and the look on his face, how much he definitely got joy out of the athletic abilities we had, and we
Hmm.
love to show him that and love to see his face, even though he wasn't always a man of a lot of words.
Well, hearing that your dad was a Marine, the first thing that enters my mind is there had to be a lot of discipline in your family, discipline as an athlete, discipline as a student. Is that true?
Yeah, yeah. We're hard workers. I worked at back in Baskin Robbins. I babysat. I was a nanny. We didn't get out of the house until we actually cleaned the bathroom, cleaned our rooms, did all the things. It's funny because I know this, master motivation and motivation, motivation without activation and without discipline goes nowhere, right? And so
Right.
the importance of not waking up and feeling motivated, but actually having the discipline to get there, to be activated one step at a time is just so much more important than I'm motivated, let's do this.
No, I think there's definitely a cycle, and it's funny because we talk about this from time to time with different guests that motivation leads to action, and action leads to success, and that success leads to continued motivation. But without discipline, none of those things happen. So
Right.
I totally agree with that. Well, back to what we were talking about, working with Arbonne and being put up on the stage. I know that that's not your favorite part, but you've gotten up and you've spoken to hundreds, if not thousands, of people at once. What's that like for you?
Well, as I started to grow my business large, I would be asked to get in front of more people. And this was something I was fearful from the beginning. But I knew it was coming my way. So I feel like one step at a time, I've more grown into that, even
Hmm.
growing into the leadership. So when it came my way, I was asked to speak in front of 18,000 people on a big stage in Vegas. I was expecting it actually, because I knew it was going to happen at some point, and I knew that I wanted to turn that nervousness into excitement. Being at similar feeling, what you tell yourself matters, right? I'm going to change the thought and mindset into like I'm excited about this. Um, and so I really just prepare. I speak it out loud. I have positive affirmations. I probably prepare more than I should when I'm asked. And I practice, progress, not perfection, right? So little bit every year, I can get better, and it's still just not my strength. But again, I tell myself when life changed, or if I can be an example to somebody else who's like me, um, you know, I feel like we're all meant for, changing lives. So even if it was just one life that day, then it's worth it. Kind of get over yourself, right? Put the
Hmm.
ego aside and get over yourself, and just know that somebody needs to hear what you have to say.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree with that, and I love hearing that. Um, when you started out, it was just you, right? And then you talked about
Right.
building a team
Right.
and team leaders. So talk about how you took those first steps to build the team underneath you.
For me, it was really an organic process because I didn't come into this business searching. I mean, I wasn't looking for a business, put it that way. Like it was more of a natural process, falling in love with the products, people falling in love with the products, and then just naturally sharing them. Um,
Hmm.
it was really a natural process of building a team because when they were having success, they wanted to share the products. And so it became kind of like wildfire. Like, you guys got to
Hmm.
try this 30-day program. It's our specialty, coaching
Hmm.
people through a 30-day nutrition program. Um, that part really was organic. Building leaders happened as more people wanted what we had. Me growing into the leadership role of having thousands and thousands of people on my team, all helping people, either with a healthy, you know, nutrition kit, or to learn how to make money from your phone, or to just eat cleaner products, or choose a healthier skincare or whatever. People join for different reasons, but that's the great thing is like a little bit, a lot, whatever, you want to do with this, you can. Um, as we grew, a lot of leaders on our team, we're just come better together. Like their strengths are my weaknesses and vice versa. And so I just love the power of what a team can do together, and what we can do to change lives, which we really, really, really focus on doing more and giving back. And we have hearts for what we can do with that, serving African orphans. And we've been to Zambia together, a lot of the leaders on the team, and just showing people that life's not just about you. Like, what can you do with your gifts to bless others? So doing more, giving back, learning from a leader in the beginning that does that, uh, um, being feeling that you're made for more and actually putting that into your life. Just nothing can go wrong when you want to give back, right?
Yeah, I love that mindset. I love that mindset of taking your gifts and using them to help others. I was blessed with the gift of martial arts and being able to change people's lives through teaching martial arts. And I see that the more that I love martial arts and I teach people to change their lives and love martial arts, that they want to help, and it just continues to trickle on down. And there's only so much that we can do by ourselves. But when you incorporate a team, like you said, some of your team members do things that they may be stronger at what you're weaker, and then you just forge that bond that makes it work together as one unit. Explain to me the hierarchy of kind of how it all works, right? So I mean, like, you're kind of at the top, and then you've got some team leaders, and then you've got people under that. Is that, I mean, how does it work?
Yeah, it's funny. I love all these questions. So in my business, you become an independent consultant. You can sell products and earn commission, right? Or you can also build a team, and when they earn commission and you help them, you make a percentage on it. So there isn't really one person at the top because anybody can pass anybody. So
Hmm.
like the hierarchy is more like a square, right? Anybody
Okay.
can pass anybody in my business, but we do earn more on how many people we help. So if you help more people, you earn more people. So yes, I'm top 1%. I have the, biggest like title you can get in my business when it comes to titles. Um, but whoever I bring into this business is welcome to pass me. I say bring it on, pass me in income, if you want to say. We're just all better together, and like I said, the more people you help, the more successful your business can be. But you get to pick how that works, where you want to be, like what is your goal, and the leaders, we help you achieve that through sharing products, teaching people how to earn income.
So when you say you're the top 1%, how many other people have that position or title within the company?
In Arbonne, I believe there's hundreds of us. It's probably a few hundred right now,
Okay.
because we're in 6 countries. So there's a lot of us throughout the world.
Hmm.
But yeah, so the top 1% qualifies you as the title that I have.
Sure. And then approximately how many independent consultants are out there?
Well, the last time I looked, there was hundreds of thousands of consultants. I'd actually have to look that up again because it changes every year. But yeah, hundreds of thousands.
That's pretty crazy. It's, I mean, that's just a kind of a big world.
Right.
Yeah. So interesting. Well, I do want to ask a couple specific questions. One, what were some things that you struggled with as a child that may have carried into your adult life, and how do you deal with it? I think we talked about public speaking being one. Is there
Yeah,
anything else?
yeah. Oh gosh, when I was a child, like public speaking was not an issue. I don't know why it became an issue later. Um, I think maybe comparison. Being a twin, people naturally would always compare us side by side. So certain things they would say about her or me, I would get hung up on after hearing the same thing like 100 times. You start to like get a little self-conscious about certain things.
Hmm.
I learned though that comparison is the thief of joy, and also that I guess how powerful words are. So it caused me as I grew older to get more careful with my words because I realized they could either help or hurt people. Thank God I have a great sister and we both have talents and gifts. It wasn't like it was kind of like she's the blonde version of me. It wasn't like anything awful, but I remember not like being compared all the time. And like when people would describe us, even just like physical appearances, like it would make me feel weird about certain things.
Mm. And how did that change for you over the years? What helped you to get over that?
I think just the confidence in helping a lot of people and not really caring what other people say.
Mm. Yeah.
I really just I guess I really just don't care as much somebody's opinion of something that doesn't matter.
Right. 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 It definitely changes as when you go from a younger child, you really don't care because you don't know. And then as a teenager and young adult, you're very self-conscious because you're very aware of what's going on. And then you kind of go back. You kind of go back to being that, like when we were a child. But it's not naive that we don't care. It's just like, you know what? It is what it is, right? And
Right,
I'm confident enough in myself to know who I am and what I stand for. And I think that that's what we take so much time in our young life, is learning who am I?
right,
What am I here for? What is my purpose? And I think that when we find our purpose, that's when we stop caring so much what other people think, because we're already on a mission. We already
right.
know why we're here.
Yeah, part of it with my business, like once you've helped enough people, like your confidence skyrockets so much that like doesn't matter what other people think because they just don't know enough. Like even me
Hmm.
getting into a business like social marketing or network marketing, um, I didn't know enough. Like I thought all kinds of things. Like who is that like mommy home lipstick business and what's that going to do to help my family? You know what I mean? Or is that one of those pyramid schemes? Like what is that?
Hmm. Hmm.
I just didn't know enough. So I don't blame people, but I just learned not to care because they don't know enough. And I also know that there's people that are hurting, and hurt people do tend to hurt people.
Hmm.
I'm really able to compartmentalize things very
Hmm.
well these days and just set it aside and pray for them.
Well, hearing you talk and the things that you say, I'm led to believe that you probably read a lot as well, because
Right.
a lot of the things and concepts and the quotes that you use, because they sound a lot like the things that I'm reading. What are you reading right now?
Well, John Maxwell is my all-time favorite when it comes to, I mean, anything you read, you
Hmm.
cannot go wrong. With people starting out in a social marketing business, I love something called Flip Flop CEO because it's just like a weekender read, and it really tells a lot about the industry.
Hmm.
There's a book called Dare to Dream, Work to Win. I love that book. A leadership book called H3. I'm almost always reading a leadership book, but I'm also good for like real stories of people overcoming
Hmm.
um, life tragedies. There's a book called On Fire. I think it's McCleary who wrote that. Anyway, it's an amazing book of somebody who overcame a tragedy in his life.
Well, I'm always curious to ask people, what they're reading, because it's just so interesting. There's so much out there. I can remember a time where I was just not a reader. I wasn't patient enough. I didn't take the time. I didn't make it a priority. But when you want to go to the next level, you got to learn, and you can learn from other people, and you can learn a lot by reading. And I love John Maxwell. I think that every book that I've ever read by John Maxwell, I read his daily reader. That's my morning read every single day. It's just a nice paragraph or a page, real easy read. Love David Goggins. Can't wait to read his new book. Talk about a story, and I don't know that I would say that his life was tragic, but definitely a good read. His book. And then Jocko. I love Jocko's books on extreme ownership. So sounds like got a couple things that we can maybe share with each other on that. And by the way, I'm just going to throw this out there because I put this on my social media, and if it's on a video and someone watches it, if anybody has a connection to John Maxwell and can get me an interview with him, I want to have him on this show. Don't know if it's going to be possible, but would love to do it. So I'm just putting it out there into the
Well, I
universe.
do know one of his coaches, but it's not him, but it might be second best.
Listen, I love speaking with anybody in this leadership role, anybody that can share. So I would love to have that
I
contact.
hook you up with my friend. He's a mindset coach. He's amazing, and he's trained by Maxwell.
Love it. Love it. I have a few friends in the martial arts industry that have gone through, the Maxwell leadership programs, and every time everybody I talk to talks about how amazing it is.
Have
But I
you
also
have
go
you
ahead.
read the book Eat the Frog?
I have not read the book Eat the
This
Frog.
is this is a good book for, getting those things, those first three hard things done first every
Hmm.
morning.
Okay.
So that's probably a good one for a lot of your viewers.
Okay, absolutely. Well, I love it. I love it. I'm going to look into that. Um, let me ask another question. And thank you, Brenda and Tori, and all of our guests that are just watching in today, commenting. We appreciate you guys watching. Share the video as well, so everybody else can learn more about Mindy and what books we're reading and all this leadership that we're talking about. But who were some of the people that motivated you and inspired you? Whether it was as a younger child or a younger adult or currently now?
Um, One of my biggest aspirations is a mentor who I met when I joined Arbonne. Her name is Cecilia Stoll. And I remember when I came into this business and I heard the good things that she was doing with her extras, let's just say. She's actually the number one income earner in all of Arbonne. Um, I wanted to become like a leader like her, who was servant hearted, who gave back, who you could just meet her and spend the day with her and you would never know like what she made, but you
Hmm.
know her heart, like she leaves you better than when she found you. You feel like you can find your potential and greatness. You feel like you just want to work for others. She, visits Africa and she introduced us to Family Legacy, where we help orphans with school and education and um, food. And she inspired myself and some people on my team to actually go there to Zambia, just to teach these kids also about Christianity and give them an education, because they're really just nothing in their society until they have some schooling under their belt, to make something more of their life. So that's all they want, is just some school. They get to bring, food back to their families. And she taught us just not about you. And I just love her work ethic. Coming to this country from Brazil, she sold books store to store just to go to college. She was the hardest worker in the room. She still is, even though she doesn't have to work another day in her life. She 24/7 is helping others because it's not about her. So I just love and I'm so inspired by leaders like that, that I, still strive to be more like. And she's amazing.
That's awesome. Well, that's great to hear. Is there anybody else that really inspired you? Anybody that really motivates you?
Well, I mean, I can tell you like podcasts I enjoy, Ed Milet, and my leaders on my team inspire me. I mean, I just cannot believe like some of the stories and things that they've been through that just keep me still wanting to be my best for them. Um, I I I'm inspired by my parents. Do you know the Lamonts? So my next door neighbors in Newbury Park, the Lamont family, um, they were a family that inspired me as a young child.
Hmm.
They just had this joy in them that was unusual, and I always wondered like what is different about them. So they also introduced me to a local church as a child, and where I became a Christian. And they're just such a special family. So but yeah, there's a lot of leaders in my business that I'm really inspired by, and they have the same qualities. A lot of them have similar qualities, like Cecilia.
Hmm. Now, you brought it up and you mentioned it, if you're willing to talk about it. You became a Christian. Did you grow up um, religious? Did you grow up going to church? When
I
did that
didn't.
change?
I didn't. I mean, not that my family didn't believe that there was, you know, a Jesus, but I think that we were just never, it was just
Hmm.
never in our routine. It
Hmm.
was my neighbor who had this joy that I wanted to know where that came from. And it seemed like nothing, you know, could get in the way of that. She was such a shining light.
Hmm.
So they introduced me to a Christian church in town, and I I was in elementary school, and it stuck with me ever since. And um, I just feel like we're made for great things, and we need to keep that in the forefront. And so,
And if you don't mind me asking, how does your faith form your decisions in your life, and how does that affect how you've raised your children? Because if you know, you are not necessarily, and I didn't go to church much as a child. You know, we always had faith and we always believed in God, but I just wasn't didn't go until my daughter when
right,
my wife is Catholic. My daughter was baptized Catholic, and as soon as she was baptized, you know, I ended up getting baptized, you know, not too long after that, and that really just kind of changed my life because it's something that I wanted them to have, you
right.
know, in their life. So how did that change your life and how you raised your children?
Well, it changed my life in a lot of decisions starting from then on. Like pretty much every decision I made from elementary school forward. And I was probably one of the only in my immediate family that really, you know, was consistent with that.
Hmm.
Um, it changed my decision with my career path because I felt like stuck where I was, that I couldn't get out of that little bubble of being in an operatory cleaning teeth. um, I mean, not that I wasn't thankful and grateful for that, but I feel like sometimes you just have to get out of your comfort zone and share your gift with more people, and you can't always do that stuck in a cubicle. Um, Decision going into Arbonne, I felt like was just a divine answer to prayer because I was praying for more. Like I didn't want to go back to be a dental hygienist and leave my kids for somebody else to raise. I was having nightmares about going back to work, but how was I going to make money, right? So I feel like Arbonne was an answer to prayer, but I didn't know it was going to come into the form of sharing, you know, protein and fish sticks. But I feel like the decision to join Arbonne was a leap of faith because I felt like it was his answer. And I feel like I can help more people through that business. And not that I talk about my faith, you know, with my team all the time, but I hope to represent that for them. Do you know what I mean? That I can,
Hmm.
they can see it through my actions, and I
Yeah,
can
definitely.
inspire them that way.
Definitely. Well, I appreciate you sharing that with us and you know, being you know somewhat vulnerable and opening up a little more personal side. So I know that people really like to see that inside of you even more. So again, I appreciate that. And I want to open it up really quick. If Anthony, Brenda, Tori, anybody watching, if you have any questions for Mindy that I can put up on the screen for her to answer, I think anything at all. She's been pretty open about everything so far. So please feel free to answer, ask some questions before we start to wrap things up. But you got two teenage kids. You've been married for 23 years. Is that
Yes, yes.
23 years? Wow. So and 18 and 14. How's life going? What's life like with two teenagers? I mean, I know what my life is like with two a 20-year-old and a 17-year-old, and my wife and I were married in '99 as well, so that would make us 23 years. So, what's life like?
It's great. Like I just am so proud of my kids and what they represent. And you know, my daughter's becoming a young lady, and she's doing so well. And she's so respectful, and she's tries hard in school. And you know, I'm not one of those parents about like, you know, got to get straight A's else I'm upset. I'm like, show me you're trying your hardest, respect adults, have good friends, make good decisions. And so I'm just proud of her for where she is. My son, 18, he's graduated. He's more introvert like extreme. He's in cybersecurity school
Mm,
right now, and he's learning how to go down, you know, those career paths where he can hide behind a computer, which is it's fine with me. I think he's picked a good path for his personality.
mhm.
So I'm proud of him. He's the Mr. Straight A, smart intellectual, but he likes to hide, you know, turn the camera off. So yeah, and marriage has gone by. My husband sells real estate, and yes, he's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and it's just gone by so fast. Like we were married when we were 24. It's just sometimes I look at him and I'm like, where did the time go? How did this happen? Right? Um, I just can't believe that life goes by so fast. That's the thing. Like it goes by so fast. Like
Yep.
that's why I feel like it's so important to just make the right decision because you can't get that time back, you know?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, time does go by super fast. You look back and you're like, whoa, where'd it go? But
Yeah.
did anybody in your family, your husband's a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt. The kids, did you ever do martial arts? You ever get on the mat and roll?
I can't touch my toes. Like being on a mat doing jujitsu. Okay, I can't say that I couldn't touch my toes if I worked at it because I understand. But I'm not very flexible. I think I would really struggle at jujitsu. I love working out. I love with lifting weights. I
Uh-huh.
love, you know, all of that. But yeah, martial arts. I don't know. Are you saying I need to come to your school?
Well, I mean, your husband could probably teach you a thing or two, but
Well,
if you
I have
if
a
you
good
want
choke.
to,
I do have a good choke, so I can
got a
defend.
good rear naked choke.
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect. That's all you need. Just a good choke,
Dude,
right?
Avatar had a rear naked choke in their movie. You got to see that.
Oh, is that the new one?
Yeah,
When did it come out today?
yeah. I
O-
probably a few days ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even remember seeing the first one, to be honest with you, but I'll go check it out. So, growing up in Newbury Park, what are some of your favorite memories of
Mm.
Newbury Park? And by the way, are you still in the area?
Yeah, so I'm in Wood Ranch in
Okay.
Simi Valley now. My
Okay.
family's still in Newbury Park in the same house. What a great
Really?
town to grow up in, right?
Yeah.
I love that we would just run around, go on hikes, play in the trees, build the forts, ride skateboards, all the sports. I was always in a sport, track soccer, basketball, all the things. Like I used to like knock on the kids' doors because they had swimming pools and I didn't, and I just want to jump in there. So I would usually knock on the door like, "I'm hot. Are you hot? Like, let's come with me." Um, what a great place to grow up. I think I feel fortunate for that.
Yeah. No, when I graduated from high school, I moved to Moore Park in '93, and I always say that Moore Park feels like Newbury Park did 20 years ago. And it's just, you kind of have that small town, kind of everybody knows everybody, like,
Right.
go out and we were riding bikes or riding dirt bikes or making, you know, forts, like you said, or ramps or building something. We were always, it was always outside. It was so weird
I
because
was
I'm sorry, I
Oh,
didn't
I
hear
was
that.
gonna say I was catching lizards and snakes. My dad was a reptile guy. I was a tomboy, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was gonna say that, our kids, I don't know about your kids. My kids kind of grew up in a time where like they didn't go outside and do the stuff that we did. I mean, there wasn't really the open area that we have. When your kids were growing up, were they outdoor kids, or did they kind of, you said your son's more of kind of an inside,
Yeah,
likes to.
part of it, like half of their childhood. But as they got older, now I think as they get closer to teenagers, they find a cave in their room, right?
Yeah.
But I
They do.
try. I got to work at getting them out of their room now these days.
Well, get them doing sports like you did, and maybe that's the ticket, right?
Yeah, my
Finding
son
the
did
right one.
basketball. He did basketball, but
That's cool.
my daughter, she's more of an artist.
Oh, that's awesome. Very cool. Well, guys, listen. Last chance to ask any questions as we wrap things up today. I was really excited just to have you on the show, and I know you you kind of said, Are you sure, really?" Like, because it was a live interview, but I think that it was awesome just hearing the story. It's just great to have different leaders give their experience and give their take on putting teams together and going to the next level. I think that the one thing that was constant and consistent through the entire interview is, you talked about helping other people, using your gifts to help other people. You love to help people. Um, is there anything locally that you're involved in that you would encourage other people to get involved in? Because I know that we can talk about Zambia and going outside the U.S., but I mean, like right here in our backyard, is there anything that you're involved in that you'd like to see other people jump on board?
Well, the two charities that I support are worldwide, but there's things you can do locally. There's one called OUR.
Hmm.
It's for sex trafficking and, family legacy. Yeah, I still look into supporting small charities. So I would say, like, find something on your heart and go with that tug. If you can get involved, you can get involved locally with OUR. Um, find out more because it's pretty horrific the things that are going on
Hmm.
even locally. Um, whether it's volunteering your time or just supporting a charity financially, I encourage everybody to find, a way to make a difference.
Yeah, definitely. I was devastated to hear. We've had OUR here at our school. We've had groups come in
Yeah.
and talk, and we've been involved. But to hear that there was actually kids in our high school that will go to school, and then they're going to go home and they're going to live this life that nobody has any understanding, no concept of what goes on in their life, and they have to do that day in and day out. It's just, to me, that's just devastating, especially having, kids in high school myself, young, and as they're growing up. So I encourage everybody also to just go out and get involved. Rotary Club is a great organization. Kiwanis, even just business wise, your local Moore Park, our Moore Park Chamber of Commerce, any Chamber of Commerce. But there's lots of stuff out there, and I think that people are waiting for an invitation rather than maybe seeking it out. And like you said, find something that fits your heart and go after it and get involved.
Yeah, James Storehouse, I believe that's what it's called. It's local. We just did a big toy drive for the kids that are foster kids.
Hmm.
Something to look into if you actually want to get feet on the ground locally. But yeah, usually, you know, every year I get a tug to put my time and finances somewhere, and it's not always just those two charities, but I tend to go with that tug.
Yeah, well,
So
good for you. Good for you. And thanks for being on the show today. Thanks for taking the time just to talk with me and
for
tell
sure.
us, your story. I hope that it does inspire people that are watching. And of course, if you're watching and it, inspired you, share it with other people. Let's help spread all this goodwill and good information
Right.
with everybody and not save it for ourselves. So, Mindy, thank you so much. Hang out for about 60 seconds. I'll be right back after this video. I want to remind everybody that I will be on live again tomorrow and Wednesday this week. I have a great guest tomorrow that I can't wait for you guys to hear from, and one more on Wednesday, and then we'll be back again next Monday. Each and every Monday, we're right here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. You name it, we're on it. Just come and check it out, share the videos. Once again, Mindy Prete, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Jason. Thanks for
All
having
right,
me.
all right guys. Well, we'll see you next time, and we'll talk real soon.